Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that is now very old, very rare, very collectible, and I think they're super cool. We are looking at the 1965 release by JR Toys, or J. Rosenthal Toys, from their series of space power or friction powered space vehicles. And this particular one we're looking at today is of the Probe Force number 3. Now, the Probe Force number 3 was a vehicle that did appear in the Gerry Andersons comic series Project Sword. But this particular one has come in a NASA box. Now, I don't know whether that's because it was before the license was granted by AP Films for J. Rosenthal to produce them, or whether it was after the license expired. I don't know, but it is a copy of the model that appeared in the Project Sword comic series, which was created by Gerry Anderson. Okay, so this is the box in front of us, and it says NASA Probe Force number 3. I'm just going to bring that forward a bit so we can read what it says at the bottom there, because it's very small writing. So it says powerful friction motor, realistic rocket sounds, and that is 6 realistic rockets, 8.5 inch long with 7.5 inches wings. Sorry, 9.5 inches long with 7.5 inches wingspan. If we zoom back out, that is the top of the box, and there's an image of the actual model itself. If I turn the box to the side, it says NASA Probe Force number 3. And it's got powerful friction motor, realistic rocket sound, 6 realistic rockets, and 9.5 inch long with 7.5 inch wingspan. Exactly the same as what was in that tiny writing at the front. Same image on the side there, and it's got made in the British Crown colony of Hong Kong. If I turn the box to the end, again, it's the same again, NASA Force Probe number 3. Same image again, and powerful friction motor, realistic rocket sound, 6 realistic rockets, and 9.5 inches long with 7.5 inches wingspan. Round to the other side, and it's exactly the same as what was on the opposite side, so I won't read it again. Exactly the same cover, and on the other end, again, exactly the same as what was on the opposite end. On the box, nothing. Bottom of the box, nothing at all, as these boxes were just plain on the base, and you just lifted off the lid. Okay, so that is the box. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the box. We're going to take the lid off, and we're going to have a look at the actual model itself. Okay, so I've removed the lid, and this is the model inside. I'm just going to take it out. So that's the main body of the model itself there, and here we have the wings and the rockets. I'm just going to move the bottom of that box out of the way, and we'll have a look at the model itself. So there we have the model itself, and it's exactly as is on the box there. I'm just going to insert the wings into position, so it seems that they go this way by the looks of things. I think they might actually slide in. Do they slide in? I think they probably do. Yep, there we go. So they do actually just slide in and lock into position like that. So that's the left hand side one, and if I just slide in the right hand side one, and there we have so very, very simple to assemble. There are a few stickers on there which are just beginning to lift on the edges there, but let's get that box out of the way and let's have a good look at the model itself. So it is friction powered, so you can hear the friction, the engine sounds, which is what it said. It says realistic rocket sound. So, and you got the 6 realistic rockets, so you got 3 on that wing and 3 on that ring. These ones, the colouring is beginning to come off them. or the silverness is beginning to come off them, but they're still all there intact and looking fabulous. Okay, so let's confirm the size of this model. It says it's 9.5 inches, so let's just check that. So that is, if we measure from the tip to the end, we're looking at 23.5, just under 24 centimeters, and that works out to be, yeah, a tad under 9.5 inches. Not quite 9.5 inches, it's a tad under 9.5 inches if you just look at that. It says 7.5 inches on the wingspan, and it's not quite 7.5. It's a tad under 7.5 inches on the wingspan again, which is about 18 centimeters. And if we measure height-wise from the bottom of the wheel to the top of the model, we're looking at about 7.5 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size. It is all plastic. There's no metal parts on this at all, apart from the friction motor. So you can hear the friction motor there, which is what gives it its rocket sound. Anything printed underneath? Not that I can. I'm just going to put a little bit of light on. Let's see if we can see anything underneath. No, there's nothing printed on it. Oh, hang on. No, there is something. It's made in Hong Kong. That's all that it says on the bottom there, just along the side there. Other than that, there's nothing else printed on it. You've got the NASA stickers on there. Now, I know some of them that I've seen in the past have had Project Sword printed on them. So whether this one, as I say, I don't know whether this was before the license was granted or whether it was after the license was granted. I'm unsure. P3 on the back, because this is the number 3 probe, so Probe Force 3. Plastic windscreen with a pilot inside, as you can see, and I suppose that's the engines at the back there, and again engines at the very back of the side there, which the friction motor. I was just doing that just to see if there's any sparks, because sometimes some of these models used to spark, so you can see. But if you just can see in the back there, you can see the friction drive motor just inside, just below the bottom wheel there. So it does go backwards or forwards, and because it's friction powered, it doesn't need much pushing for it to move, and you can make it go as fast as you like. Really, really nice model, and for 1965, we're talking 60 years old. It is in fabulous condition. Just a shame that some of the chrome is just coming off some of the rockets there. Now the rockets are stuck fast, they don't come off. Same as the torpedoes at the end, they don't come off. But otherwise, it is a great toy. And you know, back in the 1960s, it would have been a really great toy to have and play with as a kid. I remember the toys were very different back in those days in comparison to what we have now. So, right, I'm just going to drop the lights down again now, because we're getting that flickering effect again, which I don't particularly want. But maybe we'd be all right with that, actually. No, the flickering is still there, so I'm going to leave the lights dimmed slightly. And there we are. So that is the model itself. I think it's absolutely fabulous. I do actually have one of these on display in my own collection, and it is one that's got the NASA on it as well as this one, exactly the same as this one. But I do have one of them in my display with my Project Sword models. So, but yeah, terrific model. I think it's one of the best of the J.Rosenthal ones of Project Sword. Very good. Okay, how well did these models do back in the 1960s, 1965? Well, I mean, J.Rosenthal Toys was a huge manufacturer of toys, sci-fi toys, based on comics television series. They produced a lot of merchandise, and their merchandise was very, very popular. As with all of the items they produced, they were such good value and quality that pretty much every kid had them in their toy box. And as I say, as a kid, I remember having quite a few of the J.Rosenthal toys. I had the Thunderbird ones. I had a lot of the Project Sword ones. As I say, I've still got my NASA one, which I had as a child, which is in my display. So yeah, they were just absolutely amazing. Really, really good toys. The friction motor was something else, because it was quite rare that you had a friction motor back in 1965. They didn't really appear in many toys back in those days, not really until the 70s, but the 1960s, to have a friction powered motor was something else as well. So yeah, they've done remarkably well, sold many of these, I would imagine. As I say, I've seen some pictures of the ones with the Project Sword on. I've never actually had a Project Sword one, but I have seen some pictures with the Project Sword stickers on the side, and a Project Sword box, but I've never actually seen one of the models myself. So I don't know whether there was an issue with the licensing or not, and it went to NASA, or vice versa. I've no idea. Perhaps if someone knows, maybe they can drop a message and let us know. But otherwise, overall, fantastic toy. Okay, let's move forward 60 years to the current date, which is January 2025. Do these models appear very often on platforms? Answer to that is no. I did search the platforms to see if I could see any of these, and I couldn't find a single one of these particular models. Not to say that they don't appear, because I believe I've seen them in the past on the platforms, but I went through the history of the last, I think 12 or 14 months, 16 months, 18 months, something like that, and I couldn't find any. But yeah, I mean, they're just, I suppose, because of the fact that they were plastic, and the fact that they're 60 years old. People, if children had them, they would have played with them, they would have been throwing them around, they probably would have been damaged and broken. So I wouldn't imagine many of these particular models have survived the course of time, especially not in this superb condition. There are a few marks on these. There is some, you can still see some of the glue marks from its original build, and some of the dust marks have got into where the glue was, so it's made it looks a little bit dirty. Maybe could do with a good clean, who knows, but it does actually look, I personally like the dirt on it, because it looks like it's actually been through the space, or been through battles and what have you. So to me, it looks the part with some wear on them. So there we are. So answer the question, no, they don't come up for sale very often, and I suppose if they did, they would be exceptionally expensive on the platforms, and who knows what condition you would get. Well, as we at Midas Touch, we have managed to find a couple of these models, and they are in super condition, as is this one, and they're both available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage JR21 toys, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful JR21 NASA Probe Force number 3 ship. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.